City Council will be meeting December 28th to vote on a development agreement between G8 Development and the city. But today we are learning complaints have been filed with the Iowa Attorney General's office and the Iowa Economic Development Board, citing legal violations with how the city handled the project. KIMT News 3's Brian Tabak has been working all day on this. Brian, what have you learned?
Well, it was a fun day in one local classroom as students learned from KIMT News 3 about what it means to be a community helper. KIMT News 3's reporter Emily Boster and I had the opportunity to talk to the kids about our jobs and what we do each day, from television to radio. And my dad, Tim Fleming, we had a chance to talk about different ways we all inform those in the community. The goal is to take what they're learning in the classroom and then teach the kids all about different ways people help others. So thanks for having us in, and hello to all the first graders at Roosevelt who are tuning in right now. Well, today, President Trump made a major announcement regarding North Korea. Plus, Minnesota Senator Al Franken is responding to sexual harassment claims from a second accuser. Those stories just ahead. After a local man is arrested in connection with an armed robbery that happened in July, law enforcement is speaking out about the case. That story coming up. But first tonight, women in the area need to be on high alert. According to Cerro Gordo County Sheriff Kevin Pals, a female has been assaulted by a man in Worth County. Law enforcement agencies throughout North Iowa are now looking for a white male in his mid-30s. He's described as being about 5'10" and driving a blue or black 2012 or 2013 four-door car. Deputies are urging females not to stop to help anyone. Instead, call 911 and let law enforcement handle the situation.
A teacher who was overheard making racial comments prior to a boys' basketball game in Forest City last week has now decided to resign.
We're all foreigners.
Exactly, all foreigners.
At a meeting today, the Forest City Board of Education accepted the resignation of third-grade teacher Holly Jane Kusero-Smith. It read in part, "The comments I made were inappropriate and not a true reflection of who I am or what I believe. I had no idea a private conversation would become a public issue." That conversation could be overheard during online coverage prior to a basketball game between Forest City and Eagle Grove last Tuesday. Commentary was being provided by KIOW radio broadcaster Orrin Harris, who was heard talking to Kusero-Smith about the names of certain Eagle Grove players that the two believed sounded Hispanic. Earlier this week, Harris was fired from KIOW after a more than 40-year career. Kusero-Smith was also let go from the radio station and was put on administrative leave from her teaching position.
40 years is a long time to stick with a job, but for one local radio personality, his job is his passion. Tim Fleming has been with KGLO Radio now for 40 years. Granted, that's not counting his years on the radio before moving to North Iowa. An open house for Fleming had people pouring into the doors to thank him for his dedication to sports, the community, and local nonprofit organizations. When asked what the secret is to staying at a job so long, one answer stood out.
If your family's happy, if you love the community you're in, you watch your kids grow and do great things themselves, that's really what kept us here at KGLO through the years.
The open house was held from 7 to noon today, and I just want to take a moment to say a big congratulations to my dad on his accomplishment.
Family and friends of 19-year-old Samantha Teeter, who was shot and killed a year ago, once again filled the courtroom today. Larry Whaley is on trial in connection with her death, and today we heard what he told police following that tragic morning. KIMT News 3's Emily Boster joins us live in the newsroom after being in court for today's testimony. Emily, who took the stand today?
Safe Harbor is a program that works to protect young sex trafficking victims, but is it working? We break down the results of a recent study to find out. In 2016, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children estimates 1 in 6 runaways would likely turn into victims of sex trafficking. Now, a new study by Wilder Research is evaluating the success of Minnesota's Safe Harbor program, a statewide program that looks to help sexually exploited youth who engage in prostitution by viewing them as victims instead of criminals. KIMT News 3's Annalisa Pardo is breaking down the results.
Extra layers are essential during the winter months to help keep you warm, but not everyone is afforded the opportunity to purchase a pair of gloves or a hat. And now local students are coming together in an effort to help those in need. North Iowa Area Community College student government representatives hosted their annual coat drive at Hy-Vee East today. The purpose is to raise awareness and collect donations for area residents. Items in good condition, such as coats, scarves, and hats, are accepted, We spoke to one student on how this event helps those in the community.
A nutritious diet is critical to your child's development, but it can be hard to get your kids to eat healthy foods. Could chocolate be the key to getting them the nutrients they need the most? Clark Powell explains why adding flavors to milk is healthier than you might think.
A recent tally of the homeless shelter in Rochester found that at least 70 people have no home, no couch to crash on, and no permanent place where they can take shelter. With the winter weather upon us, the Salvation Army is taking some new steps to address the urgent need, but they can't do it alone. KIMT News 3's Dee Dee Steepen is live in Rochester to explain what's being done and how you can help.
A nutritious diet is critical to your child's development, but it can be hard to get your kids to eat healthy foods. Could chocolate be the key to getting them the nutrients they need the most? Clark Powell explains why adding flavors to milk is healthier than you might think.
The lack of affordable and workforce-priced housing is a well-known issue in the Rochester area, but now an innovative new project is bringing community partners together to find solutions and make homeownership a possibility for more working families. KIMT News 3's Dee Dee Steepen brings us the details from Rochester. A one-day strike turns into 6 unpaid days off for unionized protesters who demonstrated outside Mayo Clinic Health System in Albert Lea yesterday. This morning, when they tried to return to their jobs, they say security turned them away. KIMT News 3's Annalisa Pardo is in Albert Lea today and is live in Rochester studio with the latest.
There's good news for folks planning to run a turkey trot this week. Running is a great way to improve cardiovascular fitness and lose weight, but some people worry that pounding the pavement will take a toll on their back. Now, a recent study suggests otherwise. In the study, researchers found that, in general, runners had slightly healthier discs in their back than people who did not exercise. Doctors say it's likely that runners are generally healthier, which may help them better manage pain and injuries. Complete results of the study can be found in the journal Nature. Many new college students have a lot on their plates, and often one of their biggest concerns is whether what's on their plate will lead to 15 pounds of weight gain. But according to doctors, the so-called freshman 15 is really just a myth. Studies show most college students only gain a little over 3 pounds, and about 10 to 15% go over that 15-pound mark their freshman year. Late night eating, social eating, snacking, lack of sleep, and skipping breakfast can all lead to weight gain. Often the biggest contributor to overeating is stress. And she says that just using the term freshman 15 can create a self-fulfilling prophecy. If students think it's normal to gain 15 pounds during their first year in college, they will start to head in that direction. In Studio 3, Amy Fleming, KIMT News 3. Well, the wind, not so bad today, so I thought that helped a little bit.
Oh, it did. And, now that it's out of the southeast, it always makes it feel a little better.
We'll take it.
That we will. And, no snowfall just yet. We're kind of just inching our way toward Thanksgiving with no really big trouble as far as traveling goes.
And that's always a good thing.
Yeah, I think everybody's kind of looking forward to that. But I think people want a little bit of a warm-up, too, and that's what we have in store for tomorrow.
Sounds good to me.
A little bit of a warm-up is always a good thing. Here's our Storm Team Stumper for today. Yesterday we talked about how much water weighs. This is how much a cloud weighs if you assume that it's a cumulus cloud and it's 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer. Is it 240,000 pounds, 520,000 pounds, 760,000 pounds, or 1.4 billion pounds?
Ooh, gotta try to do some math here. Or just a good guess.
It's a mathathon this week, I think.
Yeah, I guess so. Okay, I'll think about it.
Yeah, you think about that. A random one.
I have no clue. I'll say 1.4 billion. D.
The highest it could possibly weigh. Yeah, you got them all right so far this week.
Funny.
That's just wild to think about, too. Like how much water weighs, how much that weighs, and then the power of gravity in our atmosphere. It's kind of wild.
Pretty heavy. All right. Thank you, Tyler. We still have a lot more ahead today on KIMT News 3, first at 4. Here's a look at what's coming up next.
Called porch pirates continue to put a damper on the most wonderful time of the year by stealing packages from people's doorsteps. Last month, we told you the Olmsted County Sheriff's Office was beginning to see an uptick in reports of stolen packages. And now the Winneshiek County Sheriff's Office is warning people to be on the lookout. KIMT News 3's Dee Dee Steepen joins us live in Rochester with more on what consumers can do to protect their parcels from porch pirates.
Great news. Thank you, Tyler. Thanks for joining us. We'll have more on KIMT News 3 at 6.